Wish I was coming in with all of you with better news, but unfortunately I'm not. My son just came in from the mailbox, and apparently the Kevin Jackson Group is going to try and evict yet again on March 7th at 11 a.m. Stay tuned, but you know, I just don't get it at this point. The man does not own my home. There has been not one shred of paper showing me any sense that he bought my home whatsoever at a tax upset sale on December 16th of 2019. Now, anybody that's bought a home, sold a home, I don't know, lived in a home, you pretty much know the process. You buy a home, you go to settlement, you have papers, there's checks, there's canceled checks, there's documents, especially at the county level, to show that a transaction took place. What I have is documentation to show me that a mortgage was executed before any alleged sale. I have no liens on my property. They have no rights to ownership whatsoever. The tax director had no rights to write an upset deed on my property whatsoever. So they alleged to have bought this property December 16, 2019. There was no upset deed, if that's even what you would call it, because there's no grantor on the deed, and anybody that looks at an upset deed, if you look at Chester's upset deeds are written with a judge's order. They are written with a docket number. They're written with so many things and so many checks and balances in this system that you have no doubt that this happened. Not to mention the fact that my taxes were overpaid. So I don't know what is going on in County Row here, but it's not going to happen. So rest assured that if this goes through, and if the sheriff intends on coming here on March 7th at 11 a.m., that they must supply me with some legal documentation that this Kevin Jackson Group, who alleges they don't have an illegal address, they don't have a fake address and a fake owner's name, when I have all the documentation to prove that, yet they want to sit there and say that they were at this sale. There is not one LLC registered at any sales. On September 9th, where he got one deed that he sold the property for $599.9 for an alleged bid out of 50 bidders, alleged bid of $90,000. Now, and then my home, alleged to have been sold December 16th of 2019, there's no record of it. There's a one-line entry in the right to know records, drawn in with a pen, much to know, like the West Town receipts. It looks just like that. So tell me where at a county level that this happens, because it doesn't. It doesn't. So I don't know where this guy gets off thinking that he owns my home. And then he's going to allege in his response to my emergency safe eviction, where he's so sympathetic to my son's needs. I can't. That the nature of his business requires him to have a P.O. box in Chester. This man lives in Garnet Valley in a home that he bought at sheriff's sale. And that's worth, equal to mine, probably around $750,000. I don't know, maybe more, maybe less. Who cares? I don't care. They're scum. But supposedly you have a P.O. box in Chester. Now, we all know that he was at the Newtown Square Cadillac dealer on December 23rd, crying and whining because he wanted to buy a new Escalade. Find me where somebody from Garden Valley is driving to Chester to a P.O. box to pick up their mail daily, because it just doesn't happen. I'm sorry. He pulled in my driveway 2 years ago in a brand new Escalade with temporary tags. The man is a con. And if the sheriff intends on coming here on March 7th at 11 a.m., then rest assured it's illegal. It's just flat out illegal. He better have legal documentation to prove the Kevin Jackson Group bought my home on December 16th, 2019. Show me canceled checks. Show me transactions. Show me a lien. Show me a judge's order where this tax director had the rights to sell my property. I've been demanding it. Been demanding it since this man came to my door June 28th of 2021 from an alleged sale of December 16th, 2019. So that's where we're at. I just got that news. I was just getting ready to enjoy my weekend, thinking, finally, that we had broke some ground here. This guy just is not going to give up. So, we all read the response from Kevin Hayes to my emergency stay for eviction, which, by the way, was given to Judge Verwey with clear-cut violations and laws that were broken and all kinds of accusations, where I've provided a filing cabinet full of documentation to prove and substantiate every claim I made. Yet, he has decided to align with the con. He has held 2 hearings that were outside of the law, where he was sitting on the bench when I walked in, having ex parte conversations. Now, it's not a far cry. This just does not happen. It just doesn't happen. It's against our constitutional rights. It's against my rights. And it is destroying Bobby. Because as soon as Tyler came in with this bullshit notice of eviction, yet again, from the sheriffs, it's an ongoing harassment. It's an ongoing abuse. Bobby freaked out immediately, seized immediately, and went into crisis again. So I've been dealing with that for the last 3 hours. And, at what point does this stop? At what point does this abuse stop of my family? This terrorizing of Bobby stop? They don't care. They just don't care, and they're going to continue to try and do this until something happens. If the sheriff comes here on March 7th, we all know what could potentially happen. Bobby will go into crisis. I will go into handcuffs, likely, because I'm not leaving my home based on a bullshit order that's written out of fraud, that's written out of theft, for a judge who wants to bury it, that has obviously aligned himself with them. He has denied and ignored fraud. I was in his courtroom and he said, there may be fraud, but we're past that. In what world? In what world, everybody? I mean, come on. This is just ridiculous. It's ongoing abuse. It's ongoing harassment. And, I'm just over it. I'm over it. So we have until the 7th. I'm going to do what I got to do, file the documentation I got to do, call the authorities again, respond to this bullshit, claims and denials from the, motion to stay the eviction. But this is like what I'm facing. I already filed 2 motions to stay the eviction. I filed the emergency motion and I filed the hardship motion. So what am I left with? I'm left with going in handcuffs. I'm left with fighting for my home. And I'm left with protecting my sons, which I'm going to do. So, once again, if somebody knows this sheriff, let them know, if you come to my home to take me out of my home that I own, when this man has proved nothing that he owns it, not one dime. I haven't seen it. He supplied PNC checks that aren't canceled checks. They're to tax claim, not tax claim Bureau of Westchester or Chester County, just tax claim. Front copies, really bad copies at that. A mortgage, which doesn't show up on a title search, along with no other liens since I bought this home. This is an ongoing fraud. It's an ongoing abuse, and it's an ongoing attempt to steal my home. He does not own my home, period. He doesn't have any rights to my home, and this is an ongoing attempted theft. And the more that the county allows it, and the more that it's ignored, the more they're liable. So if the sheriff comes here, he's complacent in a crime. He's complacent in abuse, and he's complacent at being liable. So know that. I will go in handcuffs. I do not care. I will not roll over and comply with an order that hurts my children or that steals every ounce of equity I have in this home that protects them. So that's where we're at. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. And I don't even know what else to say at this point. I'm disgusted. I'm just absolutely disgusted that this is just allowed to continue at the county level and abuse my family. So I don't know what anybody can do. I don't know what anybody can say. But, if you're out there and you can help, call the sheriff's office, call the solicitor at the county office, call the commissioner's solicitor, call the sheriff's solicitor, call Judge Verways, call Judge Hall's offices, call them all, and call the district attorney and demand that they do something. Because at this level, we're waiting on a tragedy. Because if something happens, what's Tyler going to do? He's going to watch his mother and his brother get abused. And when he had to fend off 4 sheriffs in a hallway trying to drag his brother out. So I'm putting this out there because I know in my gut that this is going to go really badly, and not because I tried anything or did anything, and not because we didn't do anything. I've done everything I could possibly do. So if they come in here, they're entering my home, and they're forcing me out of my home illegally that I own. This man has proven 0 ownership, 0 equity, and 0 interest in my home. The tax director had no right to write an upset deed that lacks all legal requirements for a deed. There's so many legal requirements through this process of a tax sale. They've met none of them, not one. And I've proven that, document after document after document. These documents were given to the commissioner's office in August of 2022, right after I demanded from the tax director that he provide me the documentation of a legal sale. December 16, 2019, after he pulled my home off of upset for the 5th time for this man. 5th time, denying all fiduciary duties to the county. Pulled my home off of upset, allowing this man to chip away at my equity and run away with the county's taxes and drive them into delinquency. Yet he pulled it off of upset for them, but alleges to sold it from under me without any legal document. Not one. Couldn't provide me one shred of paper to show me that my home was legally sold at any tax upset. I haven't seen one legal document to show me that the Kevin Jackson Group was registered at a legal auction in this county. This is an ongoing attempt to steal my home. And I am going to push this as far as I can push this. And if I need to go to jail in the process, then so be it. I will not be violent. I will not make threats. I won't do anything. But I will sit in my home and I will refuse an eviction. My home is filled with family heirlooms. From my mother who dropped dead when she was 50. My father who died of cancer. My great-grandparents who came off the boat from Italy. My pets, my dogs, my family, my everything is in this home. We have no other family. So, you know what? Do what you can, group. Because I'm going to need your help. Might even need to go fund me for bail. Who knows? Oh, well. Maybe I'll make a few friends. Who knows? But I'm just disgusted at this point. I'm exhausted. And it just feels like an ongoing abuse. I know how much more I can take. I don't know how much more I'm expected to take, to be honest with you. Because, if anybody else was doing this to me, it'd be illegal. It'd be illegal. But because this tax director wrote this upset deed, which lacks all legal grounds, had no authority to do this. He did it, and he shrugged his shoulders at me. But it still continues. 2019, he alleges to bought my home. I'm still here. Where does that happen? Wanted a blank listing from me. Where does that happen? My taxes are delinquent from this freaking asshole who alleged to bought my home. Where does that happen? Apparently in Chester County. I'll keep you updated. Thanks all.